I started parking in the park where I had a screwdriver in one hand and a hammer in the other. I had to defend what I had, the only thing that I had, because I had nothing else but my car.
Sandra Butler's home leaked oil, had broken windows, and an interior daytime temperature of 104 degrees. But it was home. The streets were all she'd known for years. Sandra ran away from home in her early teens.
And that's when I started going off in the wrong direction with other friends. The surroundings around me, like the drugs and alcohol and all that. I was hooked, addicted. I loved it. I mean, it was my life.
Sandra's single mother didn't look for her runaway daughter. Her absentee father showed little interest either.
They didn't come look for me because the truth is that I had said I did not want to go back with my mom. So my mom said if I didn't want to come back, she didn't want me to come back.
At 15, Sandra stole a car with a friend and was put on probation. When the probation officer called Sandra's mother,
I heard her. She said, I don't want her to come back. And that right there pierced my heart.
Sandra's next big mistake came several years later.
I ended up getting married to this guy that, you know, I thought I loved. I'm thinking, well, this is somebody that'll take care of me. But it was a very abusive relationship as well with this.
They divorced within 2 years, so Sandra began looking for another caretaker. She married again. Her second marriage was not as abusive, but it ended the same way.
We got in an argument about my skimpy clothes that I was wearing. He got on to me about it, and then I just told him to get out of my life. And he did. So I just said something like, let the party begin. And I was doing some real heavy partying and drinking and smoking and cocaine.
Sandra found it more difficult to find friends or family who would take her in.
I was, like some people would say, a mean drunk. I was bad. I was really bad. And when I say bad, not just bad in doing bad things, but bad in, like, you know, hateful, angry, and get in your face. You know, I mean, I could shoot you, stab you. My family they were frightened of me. I mean, because they knew me, you know, I was an alcoholic, drug user. And so I said, and I'm not going to drink anymore. But they said, no, we don't have no room for you.
That's when Sandra's car became her home. She spent sleepless nights clutching weapons to defend herself.
That's when I started parking outside the church because I remembered the church. And so I said, I'll be safer there.
At night, Sandra slept in the church parking lot. By day, she pawned her remaining jewelry and clothes. She picked up pennies on the ground to buy food.
And I'd get 25 cents to get a bag of potato chips. And that would be my food because I was hungry.
One day, Sandra went inside the church for refuge from the heat.
And I'd go in there with my Daisy Dukes and my provocative tops, and I'd go in there. I wouldn't care, you know, who was looking at me, why they were looking. I just would walk in there for one thing and one thing only. Because I remember I said, I'm not going to be out there in the corner begging. If I'm going to beg anybody, and if there is a God, I'm going to beg him.
Sandra had heard about God in her childhood. She'd even prayed the sinner's prayer. Now, with no friends or family and a broken-down car as her sole possession, Sandra was ready to get serious with God.
I would go up to the altar and fall down on the stairs and just look beyond that little statue on the cross and just cry and cry to God. I remember, you know, just asking the Lord to save me and to forgive me. And
Sandra says she knew her salvation was sure. Her addictions disappeared.
When he saved me, he took away everything. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do drugs. God took it away from me instantly. I mean, he healed me. I mean, from all my past hurts and my bad relationships.
In the next several months, Sandra found a minimum wage job. She started attending church with an old friend, still dressed in her Daisy Dukes.
We were embraced by the church, by the pastor, his wife, the staff, the congregation. Everybody just received us very well and loved on us.
Sandra was reconciled with her mother before she died, and the family that used to close the door on Sandra.
When before they would close the door when they see me coming. Now, I mean, they open the door, you know, they roll out the red carpet. They prepare food and they want to hear what I got to say about the Lord, and they listen now. But, you know, it's not because of me, you know. It's all because of him.
Sandra has been happily married for 10 years to a man she calls her best friend.
I look at my husband and I think, God must really, really love me for giving me such a wonderful man, you know. The best man in the whole world. no matter if you're homeless or a drug user, or no matter if you're the top executive in a tall building, you know, I mean, if you don't have Jesus, you don't have nothing. You're empty inside, and that's the way I was. I just pray that the whole world will come to know him, and just not know about him, but truly know him.